Making your own stocks at home is such a wholesome experience. I think making it from scratch with fresh bones from your butcher, fresh vegetables is such a satisfying thing to do, but the only thing you do need is a little bit of time and patience. So I've preheated my oven to 200 degrees. To get that beautiful golden coloured beef stock, we need to roast our bones. So I've asked my butcher to cut them into medium to small pieces. You don't want them to be too big, and we'll just place them on a big tray like this, and all it needs is just a little bit of vegetable oil, and with your hands just rub that all over. Now on another tray we're going to roast our vegetables because that also gives our stock a lovely flavour. The classic flavours here, the trio would have to be celery, carrots and onions. Now you need to cut this all the same size, but at the same time they don't need to be quite small because we're going to be draining it at the end. So 3 stalks of celery onto another tray, and 2 lovely carrots. I'm going to split them down the middle there. I've given them a good wash, but I don't bother peeling them at all. And then we're just going to cut them into the same size as our celery. So after you've put those 2 vegetables on, we need some onions. So 2 onions, cut them in half and then in 4. And the last thing I like to add is 1 whole bulb of garlic. We're going to cut it in half, skin and all. That goes on, and again we need to drizzle it with a little bit of veggie oil. We'll just give that a bit of a shake just to make sure everything's coated in that oil. So the bones are going to take a little bit longer. They need 1 hour in the oven. So I'll put them on the top shelf, and on the bottom shelf we'll add our veggies. And every 20 minutes I'm going to turn those bones so they get a lovely deep colour on each side. Those vegetables are going to take about half an hour. You can see how deep and golden they are. That's what we're looking for to get that lovely colour on the stock. So we're going to place all of these bones into a 7-litre stock pot just like this one. Is not only great to make stocks, but I also do big batches of soup in it. These veggies have cooled down, but it doesn't matter, and we're just going to scrape them straight off our tray and then in with our bones. Fantastic. Now I'm going to add just a touch of tomato paste. This is going to make our stock lovely and rich, and just going to mix it up, just cook it off slightly, give it actually a good shake. Very noisy. And now we need a deglaze with a touch of wine, so just a splash. You don't want too much in there. Now we need lots of water to cover all these bones and veggies. And you want to take it up to the 7-litre mark here. Because it will reduce a little bit, you do want to really submerge the bones in loads of cold water. Make sure it's not hot, so cold. And I have another big pot of water here. And we're just going to pour that in very carefully up to the mark. Now a few other ingredients to add to this. 1 star anise and a few peppercorns in there, and essential, you have to add a bouquet garni. So in my bouquet garni I've got a little bit of thyme, parsley, and I've just wrapped it traditionally in some leek. So that goes in. Now once this comes to the boil, you'll start to see some impurities rise to the surface. Have a little bowl ready to go, and we'll just skim off all of those impurities. Then the lid goes on, and we want to cook it really gently for about 3 hours. Well, after 3 hours and continually taking off the impurities from the surface of it, we have liquid gold. This is just a beautiful stock. You can see the rich, deep colour here. Once you've filled them up, allow them to cool completely at room temperature, lid on, and then they go into the freezer, and there you have beautiful homemade beef stock at hand next time you want to make some soups, risottos, sauces, and don't forget all those luscious winter stews. Homemade stock, you can't beat it.